Welcome to the Maverick Report, where we bring sports news to you. I'm Jett Nelson.
And I'm Andrew Walgas. The Maverick Report starts now.
Let's start off with a recap of some of sports' biggest matchups this week. The Dallas Mavericks defeated the Golden State Warriors last week 109-99. The Mavs brought a well-balanced attack as 6 players scored double figures for their 4th straight win. Kyrie Irving led the team with 23 points and 8 rebounds and 10 assists, while Warriors star Steph Curry remained out for another game with a sprained ankle. In the next game, the Mavs' winning streak would come to an end against the Oklahoma City Thunder.
The Dallas Stars had a great start but couldn't finish strong against the Florida Panthers, who were 3rd in the Eastern standings. Dallas got up to a 3-0 lead from Wyatt Johnston with a goal and an assist, until the Panthers came alive in the second period with a goal from Sam Reinhart. The Panthers went on to score 3 more in the third to win 4-3 in American Airlines Center.
As our athletic focus shifts to baseball and softball, we dive into what's happening around the WAC Conference and UT Arlington athletics. Inside UTA Sports begins now. As softball went 0-5 in the Razorback tournament, they look to bounce back in the 5th annual Burner Invitational. This is how the Lady Mavs performed during the tournament. The weekend was highlighted by expert pitching performances from the Lady Mavs en route to a 5-1 record over the weekend. Friday, freshman Jade Moreno completed the program's 7th no-hitter versus Grambling State, surrendering just 1 walk and striking out 7 Tigers in 5 innings. Not to be outdone, Sunday, pitcher Jessica Adams completed the first ever 7-inning perfect game in school history in a 1-0 win over Incarnate Word. Coach Kara Dill spoke on the team's successful weekend.
What I like about our team is just the resiliency, their ability to just close the book on that first game, just knowing that wasn't our best. Being able to close the book and come right back.
UTA softball will continue conference play at home on March 29th through March 30th against Southern Utah.
As UTA baseball prepares to begin conference play, here's a recap of baseball's past non-conference games. UTA baseball won the first conference series but lost most of the homestand from last week. UTA won back-to-back games against the Utah Tech Trailblazers to start the series, led by Ryan Black's home run on Friday and Kalen Dygert's near-complete game on Saturday. The 3 losses came in the series finale versus Utah Tech and both non-conference matchups against Arizona State and Oklahoma. The Mavs tried to rebound as they faced Abilene Christian, but it resulted in a series loss 1-2. The Mavericks of UTA baseball will be back home to face the national-ranked Texas Christian University on April 2nd.
Although the Lady Mavericks basketball season has ended, let's go back in time and recap the final homestand at College Park Center. UTA women's basketball ended the season strong by overcoming the 4-point upset loss to Seattle and defeating Utah Valley on Senior Day. The final score was 67-53 over the Wolverines as Gia Adams led the team with 19 points and 5 assists. The loss to California Baptist the following week would put the Lady Mavs as the 5th seed for the WAC Conference tournament.
The UTA Lady Mavs had a solid run as the 5th seed that eventually fell short in the WAC Conference tournament in Las Vegas. Avery Brittingham led the way past Southern Utah and Utah Tech with 21 and 27 points, respectively. The Mavs trailed for most of the game as the California Baptist Lancers defeated UTA 83-67, which wraps up the season. Jett, what was your thought of the Lady Mavs run in the tournament and the season?
Well, it was a great season for the Lady Mavs, no doubt about it. They started off 1-8. They find a way to come together. You know, it was a team of over 10 transfers coming together here for the women's basketball team, but they find a way to get things done. They go on a 7-game winning streak right there in the middle portion of the season, but then they find a way into the 5th seed of the conference tournament. They win 2 out of their 3 games there, all the way to the semifinal there against Cal Baptist. And so even though there's no more postseason play after that, there's no doubt this season was a very good showing of improvement here for the Lady Mavs.
All right. UTA's men basketball had a fantastic season and tournament, but let's recap their last home game against California Baptist.
UTA men's basketball are looking to end the season on a 6-game winning streak at home against Cal Baptist Thursday. The men's Mavs came out firing in all cylinders, jumping out to an early double-digit lead, sending an early message with their physical play, fouling as many as 12 times in the first half. Despite Cal shooting 30% from the field, they were perfect from the line, going 11 for 11. With a halftime score of 37-29 in favor of the Mavs, Cal went on an 18-10 run to tie things up, and the Mavs quickly put out the fire, scoring 10 unanswered points in the next 2 minutes. Cal responded by rolling over on their backs as the Mavs won with a score of 71-57. Head coach KT Turner gave praise to his opponents.
And they're a tough team. They're physical. I knew they weren't going to give up. They got down. They just kept battling. And that's signs of a good team, especially with them losing a couple games before playing us. They just never gave up and they kept playing. So I really think their coaching staff do a really good job. But
with the win, the Mavs clinch a first-round bye in the WAC tournament, finishing third in the conference. Alan Mancias, the Maverick Report.
UTA men's basketball had an incredible run, but unfortunately fell to the runner-up spot in the WAC tournament. As the third seed, UTA faced SFA and broke the conference tournament record with 109 points in their win over the Jacks. The Mavs used the clutch three-pointer from Brandon Talbot to win 87-84 in the thrilling semifinal versus Tarleton State, and finally, in the tournament versus Grand Canyon, they proved to be too much for the Mavs, with the final score being 89-74 and ending the Maverick season.
And Jett, what did you think of the run for men's basketball in the tournament and the season overall?
Well, they came off to a good start. No one thought they were going to win that first game over Oral Roberts, but they continued to develop. The non-conference schedule there became a little tough. They lost to Texas Tech, and some other major schools. But when it came down to winning the conference, they got things done, got the number 3 seed, and then ended up getting them all the way to the tournament final there against Grand Canyon. But now over to you. Just what did you see from this team? We saw how much passion they had there in the final game.
Well, it just goes to show that the Maverick spirit is there. We try our hardest to make it past the challenges that we have. And it just shows, obviously, when we played Tarleton, it was a close game, but we still kept through and we finally won that game. And for GCU, when we played against them, obviously we had those 50 fouls, 50 free throws that set us back a little bit. But we still tried our hardest, and at least we get to come home with a second place title.
Absolutely. So don't go away. We still have a lot more to break down and discuss, including our upcoming game segment with the Texas Outlaws.
Additionally, we discuss news around local professional sports. Stay tuned. We'll be back after these messages.
COVID-19 has changed how we stomp the yard and feel the beat. Now it's time to take the first step that lets us get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts. As COVID-19 vaccines become available, you may have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I get it? Is it free?
It's okay to have questions. Now get the facts about COVID-19 vaccines at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
Welcome back to the Maverick Report, where we bring sports news to you. As the Major Arena Soccer League approaches playoff time, the Texas Outlaws are hopeful for another successful playoff run to the playoffs and bring home the trophy and title to Texas. The Outlaws are currently 4th in the Western standings by securing a playoff spot with an overall record of 10-9-1. Please welcome the GM and Director of Business Outreach and Operations of the Texas Outlaws, Brad and Michael. So starting with you, Brad, just kind of tell us some of the things people need to know about maybe some behind the scenes and day-to-day operations within the Texas Outlaws.
Well, so the Texas Outlaws, like you said, we're an MASL program that's Major Arena Soccer League. So it's a mixture, right, of, it's hockey and soccer. So it's fast-paced, it's fun, there's a lot of goal scoring, and behind the scenes on day-to-day operating as a GM and sporting director, I deal with a variety of things from, fan engagement, sponsorship outreach, items that go on and off the field. And so it's honestly a whirlwind, but the fun part is, seeing that we're going to the playoffs. We've had the most successful season we've had. We advanced to the playoffs with 4 games remaining in our regular season. We've got, record-breaking numbers on sponsorships. We're growing our base. We're growing our fans. And we're doing something exciting here. And, just being here in the studio with you guys is awesome as well, too. So we're excited about that. And Michael, he has his hands filled half the time as well. So, without him and a good front office staff that we have, we would not have had any of the success or behind-the-scenes stuff that, a lot of people are excited to hear about.
And Brad, you're definitely a big part of what makes the Outlaws who they are. Just kind of talk about your journey and experiences as one of the youngest GMs in professional soccer.
Well, it's been a journey. So I'll say this, the front office staff, or being, in a professional organization in pro sports, there's so many dynamic things, right? From on and off the field. And people don't get to see that. It's a business at the end of the day, but it's also a passion of playing the sports. You have to be able to balance so many things from the day-to-day operations, long-term vision. You have to be able to balance competition at the end of the day, with other teams and other clubs, because it's very competitive. So, like you said, being one of the younger GMs, sometimes I always joke, I say, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but allows me to get a little more deeper and understand, because I was an athlete too in college as well and played, club soccer like everybody else. I can understand, and being a former coach too, the psychology of the players, but you also have to know the psychology of the fans and what do they want, what makes the experience great for them, what makes it intriguing for them. So being a GM, day to day, you have to balance all of those things, in once. You could come in the morning and think you're doing one thing, and that doesn't happen. You have something else that comes and supersedes it and all this other stuff. So you have to be very, very agile. You have to be and you have to have the energy and stamina to do it, especially when you're going into a younger franchise like we are and having the success we are.
And Michael, turning it over to you, just as the business guy, what have you seen through the MASL? Where is it growing? Just kind of talk about what fans need to expect from the Outlaws and just how well they're performing.
Yeah, so obviously it's a high-energy, fast-paced game. There's a lot more goals, compared to outdoor. And so specifically what we're doing here with the Texas Outlaws is making sure that we branch out to the broader Texas and looking to bring in a wider fan base from all over. We've had fans come all the way from El Paso, San Antonio, the Dallas area, Lubbock, and so just really making sure that we make our stamp in the league and continuing to grow the MASL as we continue on this journey with the Outlaws.
And I'm sure you've had a big part to do with what Mesquite Arena looks like. And so just kind of what should new fans of the Outlaws expect when they visit for the first time?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So obviously we play our games at the famous Mesquite Arena, Mesquite Rodeo, as some of it might know. So we are, our field is right there where you see the Mesquite Rodeo. And so, our fans are going to come in and have a fun experience. Brad's done a really good job with the rest of the front office of making sure that we go out and get different things that are going to be good for the younger fans and for our fans that have been around the game for 20, 30 years.
Right. A lot of promotions we're proud of, a lot of sponsors that have, you have to, it's engaging. There's not a break where you don't have something cool for the fans, whether that's a merchandise apparel toss, whether that's, free a voucher for restaurants. I mean, it's a fun interactive experience, and I mean, we're really proud of the diverse group of sponsors and supporters we brought this year. So it's a lot of fun, but it's also a lot of work too. So we're excited about it.
Absolutely, and with the Outlaws being a younger team, we talk about their growing success that they've had this year, just, this playoff run as well. Just what are the expectations for the Outlaws this season and seasons in the future?
Well, any time when you go to playoffs, right, in any sport, it's like a completely new season. It's completely, everything's, you did in the past is gone. So, what I expect is that, our fan base, expects to see us win and score goals and obviously do well. Our coaching staff is very respected and well known. So, and we have professional players, so I expect us to, show what we are made of. Our sponsors expect nothing but that. And I think, we should be excited about it. And, there's great teams that have been around for a lot of years. When you're a younger franchise, you're not supposed to make the playoffs. You're not supposed to have the success that, we've had. So we understand going into every game. We have the most members on the U.S. men's national team for futsal of any other MASL program. So we have talented players. We have players that, represent us, represent Texas. So we go out there knowing we're a team to beat every single time. But at the same time, that's part of sports and that's athletics. So going into the playoffs, I expect us to do nothing but, that's what you can do. Or else you're not doing your job.
Absolutely. And looking at some of those key players like Vinicius Dantes and Luis Morales, just what have you seen from them, not only on the field, we know they're top contributors to scoring and assists per game, but what have you seen from them maybe in the locker room, maybe out in the community that makes them just difference makers no matter where they are?
Well, Vinny, he's the stereotypical. He's a veteran. He's a great professional. He's won the MASL Cup. I mean, I think it was 5 times, right? Five of them. He's a great role model. In my opinion, for younger players. He drives 2 hours a day to practice, there and back, coming from Tyler, Texas. He does the work. He understands it. He's been there. And he's also produced phenomenal results. Luis Morales, he's a young man. He's on the national team. He's a tank. He scores goals. And I think that with, having people like Vinny Dantes and, having like a younger guy like Luis Morales, I mean, what an opportunity for Luis to, be a sponge and learn from that. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, I mean, going into this year playoffs, it's back-to-back years going to the playoffs.
Right.
And like Brad said, we are a new program, younger program. The coaches and staff has been able to bring in some new guys with some veterans. And so we're excited to have that mixture of these young, hungry guys and the veterans that we didn't have last year to go into our playoff run when we start up in April.
And then, Michael, last thing here, I'll kind of dig into your business mind here, but, when fans go to the games, they get to visit Mesquite Arena, just what are some cool things like these towels here and the hats that fans can maybe get their hands on at the games?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're always going to have some type of merch at the beginning of game for our first, 200 fans. And there's always going to be something, whether it's our rally towels, our foam fingers, if it's a shirt, whatever the case may be. And then as we go through, there's 4 quarters in our game. And so between each intermission, we've got media timeouts. We're always doing some type of giveaway. Like I said at the beginning, there's things for the younger kids, there's things for the adults. We're just excited to have made the
fan experience
connections and be able to give that to our fans there in Mesquite.
And I'm going to brag on one more thing. Nobody in the league has as many promos, as many fan engagement activations as we do. We have a lot, and that's something that's cool for all the fans to come in there. Tickets to other events, and from stakeholders from all over Texas. So it's really cool. And I want the students over at UTA to come on out, to our games as well. You guys will have a lot of fun, I promise you.
Oh, we're very excited to be there. Hopefully on Thursday we plan to be there. But, we thank you so much for that kind of input. But now it's time to kind of drop the shoulders a little bit, have a little fun.
All right.
We're going to toss it over to our game of this or that.
Oh, no.
So who do you think is going to go further in the NCAA tournament? Talking about South Carolina or Louisiana State. Right now, the Gamecocks, they're going to be a tough team to beat. They came through as a team that no one expected from the beginning of the year. Now they got to take on LSU, a team that's, always been well built, a team that's, just kind of always had that experience in the tournament. Who do you think can take it, the newcomer or the old beast?
I defer to Michael.
So are we talking on the women's side or on the men's side or both?
I would believe the women's side. I think that's where
LSU obviously coming in as the champions last year.
Right.
And South Carolina, they just tussled a little week ago.
All right.
I think I'm going to go with South Carolina this year, though. I think they got a chip on their shoulder and wasn't expecting LSU to quickly do what they did. So I think South Carolina's going to have a bigger chip on their shoulder this year, and I think they're going to be the ones that take it.
And my answer is I believe the best program that shows up on game day is going to win.
Yeah, both teams going to be trying hard at that one, but moving over to the NFL now. As the NFL draft approaches, would you rather pick a quarterback such as Caleb Williams or maybe look for a trade like the Chicago Bears did there with Justin Fields?
So having some experience with, drafts and trades and all that stuff, I'm going to say that I believe that both organizations have the representation to make the best decision for their programs when they need to make it. That's my answer. Now, yours.
I don't know that Caleb Williams is gonna go to the Bears, but I know he doesn't want to. But I think they're gonna take him.
Yeah, he's still got a lot to prove too.
Yeah.
He's just coming out of South California there, and so he's definitely going to be the top prospect there. But once again, guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you guys.
It was good to have you here. Getting into the pro sports world, and big opportunity for us, and so we're excited to be there on Thursday as well.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit about that game as well.
Thursday, so for all the students out there, Thursday we're going to be playing Baltimore at our house at Mesquite Arena at 7 o'clock. It's our last regular season home game. But then the following week, and this was just confirmed today, April 6th, that's Saturday.
All right,
7 p.m. at our house, we're playing San Diego Sockers for the first round of the playoffs. It's going to be a big game, passionate game. I want to see the students there. Come on out there. We'll do something special for you guys, and it's going to be a good environment. I need some rowdy fans. I got to make it tough for San Diego against us. They're the dynasty team. They're a great program, and I think with UTA supporting you guys, we can do something special.
Absolutely. So we'll be there for San Diego coming into Texas, trying to beat the Outlaws. Outlaws definitely going to be better in that one. So we thank you so much, and we'll be right back here on the next segment of the Maverick Report.
STEM is everywhere, like here, behind the scenes of The Walking Dead.
When we break down clothes, we tumble it with trisodium phosphate, rock salt, and dish detergent.
We stitched together images of our model and created a 3D set that can be walked through in a VR headset.
We're able to turn 12 walkers into 1,000 walker horde.
STEM can create new worlds on and off the screen. What will you make with STEM? Get inspired at SheCanSTEM.com.
Philip Russell stepped up for the Mavs when they needed him most in the WAC Championship. He led the team with 22 points and 4 assists in the loss to Grand Canyon. Russell came into this season as a new addition after being declared eligible back in January, halfway through the schedule. Russell has been a top contributor by leading the team with 15 points per game and 97 total assists. With 1 year of eligibility left, Russell could be a major piece of the team returning for year 2 under KT Turner. The conference announced him as the 6th man of the year for his performance during the season and tournament, and selection to the all-tournament team. Do not go away. Pro Sports and Predictions are up next.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
As professional sports evolves constantly, we discuss key topics around the local area. Our Pro Sports segment starts now. There were many achievements in basketball recently, including LeBron James surpassing 40,000 regular season points. But as the landscape of women's basketball gets more attention, it got even bigger when Clarke passed the NCAA all-time leading scorer, Pistol Pete. So Clarke passing this 54-year-old record, just what does that say about her and where women's basketball is going?
Well, to me it sounds like she has great potential coming out of college. It shows that she has a great future ahead of her and a possible career further than we could even imagine.
Absolutely. Her impact on the WNBA is going to be hard to track. She's going to be, it depends on which team she goes to. That's all coming down to the draft. But I feel like no matter where she goes, she's going to be able to get damage done at the three-point line and even in the paint, and for that regard. But now looking at LeBron's 40,000-point milestone, we know a lot about him already, but just even in this latter part of his career, just what does that milestone say about him?
Well, obviously we all know that LeBron has been put in the hat for the best player of all time, the GOAT. Obviously there's always some competition, but this just goes to prove that LeBron still has a lot left in him and we could still see more from him.
I think he's always kind of had that goal of, obviously staying in the GOAT conversation, but he might have a goal of playing with his son. Bronny James is at USC. He's trying to come into the NBA. That'd definitely be a sight to see there. LeBron James with Bronny James in the league at the same time. So
you can watch LeBron when the Lakers take on the Brooklyn Nets Sunday, March 31st, and Clarke in the NCAA Women Tournament with the Iowa Hawkeyes.
1985, the last season of the UTA football program. As the university approaches 40 years since the program was disbanded, the Maverick Report's Jason Hawley sat down with former Mav and two-time Super Bowl champion Bruce Collie.
Recently, I had the privilege to visit with two-time Super Bowl champion, former UTA Maverick, and college football nominee for the year 2024, Bruce Collie. what can you tell me about the opportunity to win a Super Bowl? But most importantly, I want to know, what can you tell me about your quarterback, Joe Montana? And what was it like to block for Montana for those 2 Super Bowl rings?
Joe Montana, the GOAT of all GOATs. You know, I'm sorry, but Tom Brady, you know, they changed the rules where he didn't get hit. And Montana had none of those luxuries. He got hit on, you know, every game. It was open contest. So, you know, put that right there. Great guy. Always took care of us, offensive linemen. I'm in fact right now wearing a solid gold presidential Rolex watch with his name on the back. Gave to the guys on the offensive line. We actually didn't have any sacks in the postseason of the '89 Super Bowl 44, and he was pretty much untouched.
All right, so Bruce, this coming up year will be the 40th year since UTA disbanded their football program. What do you think that means as an alumni for yourself? And if the UTA program was to come back, do you think the community would support it?
I don't know ins and outs on how they do that, but that's way above my pay grade. I just know that, you know, for all the investments they put into that stadium back in 1980 and all the investments they put into the program, you know, it just seemed like there was always a pull away from, you know, they didn't just drop football in '85. They started dropping football probably in '82. I don't see UTA ever bringing it back.
To hear more of that interview between Jason and Bruce, visit our YouTube channel at Maverick Media Club.
To wrap up the show, we bring you some notable upcoming matches and our takes and picks of them. As Major League Soccer starts its 29th season, how do you think FC Dallas will be this season?
I think they're going to be a really tough team to keep up with. I mean, there's a lot of talent returning from last season. That's where we saw Dallas FC make the tournament there, but lose in the first round to the Seattle Sounders. But I think for the season as a whole, it's going to be tough to keep up with teams like Miami bringing on Messi from Argentina. So I think it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a journey. But when it comes down to it, FC Dallas is a team that can compete in the playoffs.
And how will the rivalry match up between Dallas and Austin?
Austin's another team. They're one of the younger teams there in the MLS. Dallas, a team that's been around a little longer, but you never know how it's going to go. Each time they play, it's a heated rivalry each time. So I think it's just going to come down to maybe just home field advantage. Who has it? And talent will figure itself out of it in the later part of the game. As Major League Baseball starts up, the reigning champion Texas Rangers have a hard challenge to start with in the Chicago Cubs on opening day. What do you think about this opening matchup?
Well, obviously, I'm a Texas Rangers fan through and through, and we are the reigning champions, so I'm always rooting for my team, and I know that they will pull through in this matchup.
I think it's going to be tough. You know, the Cubs are a team adding some key additions through the free agency there, but Texas is also a team. We return Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. They're going to be at the top of the lineup. Pitching may be our only kind of soft spot there, but I think when everything gets put together, we saw it last season. We saw it there in the run to the World Series. Texas has what it takes, so I think they'll start the season strong. I think they'll at least win the series there. It's 3 games. I think they'll win the series there against the Chicago Cubs. That's all we have for this edition of the Maverick Report.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Maverick Media Club, so you never miss a highlight again. I'm Andrew.
I'm Jett. Thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time.